What's up, folks? This is Peter, and you're now listening to Peter Talks Smackdown. Man, ain't much really going on this episode, honestly, being it's the couple of days before WrestleMania. They do this sort of every year. They maybe throw a match in there, maybe one or two, maybe even three. But for the most part, it's a recap show and a package show and a preview show going up to WrestleMania. Now, this week, SmackDown is still at the Staples Center in LA, and you have WrestleMania Access going on, as well as the taped version of SmackDown. You don't really, again, we don't get too much out of this. It doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really, I guess the matches that are actually on the card don't really advance anything. They're just kind of thrown together as a showcase for the fans who actually want to see a SmackDown show before WrestleMania. But before I go into this review, which is not going to be that long. I always say it's not going to be that long, and then it always extends, but it's not going to be that long. I just want to recap this week in Peter Talks Wrestling Central. Go back to the previous podcast this week, and it's been a very, very busy week, honestly, for us. And maybe that's the nature of the beast of what's happening in the wrestling world today. Especially with the build to WrestleMania. So if you haven't yet, and if you're listening to this right now and you're curious to hear other podcasts, commentaries, conversations, arguments, laughter, go back and listen to this week's podcast we had on Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling Central. Sunday was the last week's SmackDown review. That was posted Sunday. And then on Wednesday, I posted two podcasts to celebrate WrestleMania 31. Just so happens, Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, basically the hub of, say, what's going on with PJTW Central. We had our 31st episode, and it was split up in two parts. Part one was a review of Raw with Alexa Feldman, who also does her podcast. If you haven't listened to it yet, the pilot is up for Dang We Love Divas, which reviewed the finale of Total Divas last season. So we do a part one of Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling where we just review Raw. And then part two is a special video podcast that you can also see on YouTube with me, Jake, and Alexa, and we're giving our WrestleMania predictions. The link to this video will be in the description box for this upload, and if you're curious to also check out the YouTube and you want to subscribe to the YouTube page, where basically any and everything we post on SoundCloud will be on YouTube. The name of the YouTube page is called Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling Central. That's basically everything from the Tumblr page, the website, pjtwcentral.com, and also the Twitter handle. So yes, subscribe. And we plan to do video prediction shows every month. I guess that align with all the pay-per-views that they have coming out. So if you haven't listened and seen those yet, it's definitely worth your time. They're all pretty funny. We get stuck on this argument between who's better, the Usos or Kid and Cesaro, who I like to call the marksmen. So yeah, and then we also have Faster Than the World podcast, which is Jake's podcast with the amazing Fritz, and they do a really quick review of NXT. So this past NXT, that review is up. And I think that's about it. But again, all of it is worth checking out. Go to pjtwcentral.com. you see the ways to be able to consume any of these, whether it's Stitcher Radio, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Tumblr. If you have a Tumblr account, you can basically subscribe and access all the SoundCloud posts there. And yes, thank you so much for all the people who have been retweeting, reposting, liking, commenting. All those things help. Share as much as you possibly can. For us, we greatly appreciate it. Again, go back and listen to even the weeks before podcast. And without further ado, I'm going to go into this SmackDown WrestleMania go home pre-show review preview package show. So again, SmackDown is still in LA and it's still at the Staples Center. And the first match is a fatal four-way between Jimmy Uso, Big E, Fernando from Los Matadores, and Cesaro. It was a pretty decent match. I mean, for a showcase match, for just to basically get the taste in your mouth of what's going to happen at WrestleMania between the four of them. Apparently, all four of them will be there. There was a big concern about Jay Uso's. I think it was an injury to his shoulder or whatnot. We still don't know the specs on how severe or how much he's healed up or hasn't healed up. So why not put Jimmy in there and basically take up the slack of taking a couple of bumps and giving his brother a little more time to rest up and heal up and be able to perform at a high level at WrestleMania. Because shit, I mean, even if I broke my neck, I still want to be able to get on that WrestleMania stage. You wait all your life to do something like this. I'm not sure if they've ever had a WrestleMania match per se, but also, well, being that this match is thrown in with the pre-show, it doesn't really do those guys any justice. The Usos, I mean, definitely. They're going to be on the pre-show along with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it's the fatal four-way, and Big E gets the early momentum. And it's something to see because it's not like the guy digressed in terms of his wrestling ability. It's the fact that he's bunched up in this dumbass New Day gimmick, which is so stupid. To break down the psychology of it boils down to the idea is like, well, we always get blacks in this way or that way. It's like, well, these guys are positive. It's like, well, why do we always have to bunch them up to have some sort of attitude or gimmick? Why can't they just stand alone? I mean, you look at Kofi Kingston, Xavier Wood, and Biggie Langston. They all on their own can probably make some noise. I mean, why Kofi Kingston is years into his career is bunched into a gimmick that it's superstars worthy. It just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. But anyway, if the crowd is kind of silent to what Big E's doing in the ring, which is pretty impressive stuff. I mean, he's taking out motherfuckers left and right, but no one cares because he's in a faction that isn't taken seriously. So what the fuck would you expect? Jimmy Uso finally gets some offense, and then it shifts around, jumps back and forth. But then there's this one incredible spot where it seems that Cesaro is about to suplex, I think, Fernando in the ring, and then Jimmy comes in, and then all of a sudden Big E takes up all three of them and it's like a sort of collective suplex with him basically taking the strength of it all back into the ring. Something that was really impressive. If you've ever watched it, yeah, you get these spots off the top rope like this, but this is like, they're all coming up. They're not already up. They're all coming up. And it's definitely impressive. But again, something like that with a bunch of people we don't take serious is not going to be that impressive. It's just not. It's sad, but that's what it is. And then after that spot, it basically becomes like a spot fest. And I think this is what people are hoping to see out of this WrestleMania match between the 4 tag teams respectively. Very much so like the ladder match. It's going to be spot fest, spot fest, spot fest. But it's whoever wins that tag, who I have predicted winning is the Usos. Until they do something about that tag team roster, you're just a bunch of dudes holding belts. And I think the Usos deserve better. I think Cesaro and Kid just need to go ahead and pursue singles careers and try their best to go for the brass ring, because if you've been listening to my commentary with either Alexa or Jake or even Nathan, is that the star of that tandem of Kid and Cesaro, aka the Marksman, Natalya. And Natalya needs to go ahead and get her ass into the Divas title picture along with Naomi. But the match ends with Jimmy Uso getting the pin on Cesaro with a big splash from the top rope. Yeah, that's about it. If you're excited about this tag team, you should hit me up. Leave a comment on SoundCloud or on the YouTube, or even a tweet. Send me a tweet. Like, I would like to know your perspective on who wins this thing, and if you care or not who wins, or this down here. Just let me know. I'm very curious to know how you feel about that match for WrestleMania. So after that match, it really goes into the idea of what this SmackDown represents. And this is basically a recap, rehash, preview, prediction show that showcases all the main events on the WrestleMania card. We all know what these are, so it's no need for me to dissect even on my own. Any and all things that I expressed are on the Raw review, Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling review with Alexa, and the WrestleMania predictions podcast, that is episode 31, parts 1 and 2, about any and all that's going to happen at WrestleMania. I think the one thing that I left out is the idea of Luke Harper stealing the show in the ladder match. He's going to completely own that ladder match. The dude is awesome. So before they head over to Renee Young and Byron Saxton at WrestleMania Access, they show a new commercial, a new thing about this, I guess, campaign of For the Hero and All of Us. Really, really impressive. That's the thing about the WWE. When it comes to them writing matches and, creatively putting together a show, I mean, it could be a little lackluster. It could be anything between, 1 or 2 stars out of 5 when you're dealing with, like, say, build up and storyline. But when it comes down to, like, making packages and, like, doing, like, little, like, spots where they're promoting something or starting a campaign, they hit them out the park. It's the best of the best. It's some of the most amazing stuff. And this, For the Hero and All of Us, is just an example of that. It's so fucking good. And if you're like if you're someone who's a casual watcher and you watch because you see like commercials and packages and stuff like this, and then you see the product, I imagine you're scratching your head too. It's like, why isn't the product as good as how they're packaging it? It's pretty amazing stuff. But The Hero and All of Us, it's like some campaign about like people, I guess, going through the struggles of life and, fighting and redemption and all that stuff, and them giving you the opportunity to tell your story via Twitter or things of that nature, or videos, or have you. Maybe they're dive more into more special interest personal stories of the WWE universe. But honestly, that's a really good slogan for them in general, the WWE, for the hero in all of us. I hope they run with it. I think it's a very good slogan for what it is, you know? Like, this is what we're watching. We're watching heroes, we're watching superheroes and supervillains. And yeah, why not make that the WWE slogan, or for the network? Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but I don't see it as a bad idea. But yeah, but to jump over to what's happening for the rest, basically the bulk of the show, is WrestleMania Access with Renee Young and Baron Saxton, and to see those two work together is pretty cool. They, you know, you can see they got their Barons working down at NXT together. They make a really good tandem. Renee Young's, you know, she's adorable, and I don't know if anyone's picked up on the fact that she talks with a lisp, a little bit of a thick tongue. You know, it actually adds a little bit of character, more character to who she is. The more she talks, the more you can really pick up on it. And you see Byron Saxton, who's being groomed to take Michael Cole's spot. Say as you will, the other guy that does, who basically got sent back down to NXT. I think they wanted him to take Michael Cole's spot, but I think he's dry. He doesn't really have a lot of charisma, and they don't want to put someone in a place as Michael Cole that lacks any kind of charisma, and I think that's where Byron Saxton comes in. So to see the two of them, I mean, I doubt if I ever see Renee Young calling matches as if she did in NXT prior, but definitely she's going to be someone who's going to be like the Rachel Nichols of the WWE. If you're not sure who Rachel Nichols is, but she's this redhead woman for ESPN, and she is kind of like the top of the food chain when it comes to sort of on the spot reporting and special stories and whatnot. I think Renee Young is going to be that, and Byron Saxton very soon, if not later, will take the place of Michael Cole. And they're just hosting basically the previews to the matches, and they go down, you know, they recap Brock on Sports Center with Michelle Beadle. They go into a really impressive, they're all impressive. God damn, all these packages are impressive. They go into the package of Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. They also do like an IC belt / ladders history and preview. They do like a little bit of a Divas preview. They also do like a Cena versus Rusev package preview. And they also do like a Randy Orton, Seth Rollins package preview, which they are all amazing. If you're the casual watcher of this product and you haven't seen a single episode to the Road to WrestleMania since Survivor Series and Payback, you would think like the build was something that was really, really, really amazing. And to the hardcore fans that watch this, you're just like, bullshit. But at the same time, you're like, God damn, you know, like, why do I watch the product? All I have to do is basically like watch these sort of package preview shows and just get overwhelmed by how good they look, and then go into WrestleMania thinking like everything's peachy keen. But hey, that's not the case. Breaking news also that they will have Aloe Black. I don't know if y'all ever heard of Aloe Black, but he used to be in this hip hop group back in the early 2000s called Eminem. And I feel like I'm the only person that knows about this, because Aloe Black has completely overhauled his career from being like an underground rapper with a producer that makes pretty decent beats to like this folk singer-songwriter guy. I don't know. Do yourself a favor. If you're listening and maybe you know of Aloe Black from I'm the Man, and then the Don't Wake Me Up with a Vinci, but go back and look up this group called Eminem. Emanon. Eminem, and look for an album called The Waiting Room, and you'd be surprised that is the same person. The same exact person, just rapping, very, 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 very lyrical. I mean, the guy's rap ability is something almost to a certain degree unmatched, but he's now doing singer-songwriter stuff. Go figure. But he's going to be, as say, John Legend to the Super Bowl. Aloe Black is going to be that for WrestleMania, and he's going to be singing America the Beautiful. He's from the Bay Area. I mean, I think he's going to just climb out of bed, probably walk over to the Levi's spot and sing the song and probably hang out. It's in his neighborhood, but nevertheless, that basically was, I guess that covered at least an hour's worth of programming, what I just went over. At the beginning of the show, I was under the impression that we were going to get a AJ Lee versus Paige match, but that wasn't the case. I guess it set it up, and somehow I don't know if say they reneged, but maybe it was in the cards all along just to have them basically come out and let bygones be bygones to be able to face the Bella twins. So AJ comes out and she spits a promo about how she was the longest reigning champion and how she wants to kill the beef between her and AJ, and that the Bellas are being manipulative and to make them sort of turn on each other so they can win the match at WrestleMania. Paige comes out, she cuts a promo, and she's basically just talking about how through her career, she's been nothing but manipulative, and why should she trust her? A year ago, she came out and won her first title from AJ. We all want the belt, and everyone, if you're saying that they're being manipulative, you're just as manipulative, and I don't know why I should trust you. Again, AJ just wants bygones, and AJ makes a comment about don't let the Kardashians win this. And Paige comes back, she's like, well, let's ditch the frenemies and become tag team partners. So they go to shake, and it looks like the match is not going to happen. But before they can actually touch hands to make it official, the Bella Twins music hits, and they come out and they just spit a promo. Now, what's crazy is that this becomes, it's more than a promo, because I don't really see the Bellas as like great, as a great promo. They're not, but I think they're really awesome bitches. I think they're great at being mean bitches, like mean girls. And I guess they were given the liberty to go out there and maybe just a little scripted, but it sounded like this was like natural to them. So it came out very, very smooth. And in one part of the promo, she talks about how Brock has worked more days than AJ. And the place just, whoa. And, and while you're on vacation drinking fucking tequila or whatever, we've been busting our ass and dominating the Divas division, which, I mean, I don't think I agree with the busting their ass part, but it's true. They have been there the whole time, and they have been holding the Divas division on life support. As much as I don't agree with it, I can't really say any different. And that's maybe the fault of the WWE and taking a lot of their Divas talent and throwing it out the window. But when you really search through the rubble and the shit, the Bellas have been there, and they've been doing their job all right enough to where people still tune in to see them. I mean, they're hot for one, and so whatever. And it goes back and forth with insults, where Paige goes into a part of the promo where she's talking about how they don't want to be like the Bellas because they're the, what Paige and AJ represent are the geeks, are the nerds, are the weirdos, are the, all these people who get their lunch money taken from them. But we are the future, and regardless of your cookie cutter thing. We're who we are, and it doesn't make you any better than us. Actually, it makes us better than you because we're against the grain, so to speak. But nevertheless, they go back and forth, and as Nikki attempts or acts as if she's about to go to the ring to attack both Paige and AJ, she backs up and basically says, I see you bitches at WrestleMania. And I don't know, it made for a good little cat fight, a little cat nip, so to speak, cat lip back and forth. It was enjoyable. It still is not, it doesn't really make me that much excited for the match because it's not for the belt. If this was a fatal 4-way for the belt, to try to sort of go up against, say, what happened at NXT for the fatal 4-way, then yeah, I think I'd be pretty fucking stoked. But it's not. It's a tag team match between two girls in Paige and AJ that I wish they weren't so nerdy as much as their promo was about that. I wish they weren't so lackluster in terms of starship, and you can see them just working hard. I guess Paige has a natural gift of gab, and she really came out as the star in this promo, like this little segment. But it's something that she needs. I think it's just a little more backbone in her character. Like, just if she could just don't slouch and just sort of like really, really step out as a star and really demand the attention like a star demands, that I think out of the four of them, that she can basically separate herself from the rest of the group to be able to be a legitimate contender with the likes of Natty and the likes of Naomi and the likes of Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and all the divas that need either their careers turned around, like a Alicia Fox or Summer Rae, to the new girls out of NXT. I mean, it really needs an overhaul. I think Nikki needs to drop the belt. I see the Bella Twins winning this because it really doesn't matter. So we might as well keep whoever has the belt with it, get the win, and then move on to greener pastures ahead. And after that match, we head back over to Access with Renee Young and Byron Saxton, where they go over the Triple H. They start talking about the Triple H Sting match that's coming up in at WrestleMania, and they do a really awesome package for that. During that package, and they showed the clip up to Sting and Stephanie McMahon in the ring. I don't know whether I looked away. I was too busy typing on my phone, taking notes. But I was wondering why Stephanie wanted to smack Sting. I thought it was something that I was like, he didn't insult her or anything, but apparently he winked at her after she came in and said what she had to say to him and tried to like basically emasculate the guy. But he just winks at her like an asshole, which I thought was pretty funny. Seeing it in the package, and that's why she goes to slap him. I'm surprised I missed that, but he smiles and winks like, yeah, whatever, little girl. But and also during the package, I realized that you're talking about two generations of Ric Flair proteges, which I thought, I don't know why I didn't think of this at first, but Sting is a Ric Flair protege. He actually, quote unquote, discovered him. That's why he has his own woo, but when Flair was like the ultimate heel, Sting was like the ultimate babyface, and he put him in a position to succeed like no one else. Maybe like very much like what Dusty Rhodes did for Ric Flair, by putting him over as in his respective role as a heel who's going to take out the babyface and make him even that bigger of a babyface. But he put Sting over as a formidable babyface. And we honestly, if it wasn't for Ric Flair, we wouldn't even know who the fuck Sting is. And then you take Triple H, who when Flair came back over, he went in to train Triple H. And he made Triple H, if you really look at like the way he wrestles, Triple H that is, it's almost spot on to how Ric Flair fights and his ring psychology. And it all came to fruition when they were a faction in Evolution, and how Ric Flair always shows back up in Triple H's life whenever there's these big matches or Triple H comes to grips with something big in his career. Very much like when they faced off Triple H and Flair, that per se about facing Sting. So I just thought that was pretty fascinating that out of all this all eluded me. And it just all made sense when I heard Stinger within the package go, woo, like his old, like his scream. And I was like, shit, dude, that's crazy. I imagine the person with the most invested in this would be Ric Flair. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ric Flair comes out and has to make a decision of who his guy is. So it brings a whole new dynamic to this match if they even take it there. So, and then they also go into the Undertaker Bray Wyatt package, which you see more Bray Wyatt, and they try to tell the story about the man comes around, the Johnny Cash stuff, and on up to him losing to Brock Lesnar, but they don't have any footage of the Undertaker even confronting Bray Wyatt face to face. So the bulk of post Brock Bray wanting to face Undertaker is just him. So nevertheless, we still gonna get an entertaining match. My prediction again is that Bray Wyatt wins. Undertaker doesn't necessarily need to win. He doesn't necessarily have to lose, but just because of those two necessaries, I feel that he's gonna lose. He has nothing else really to fight for. And if Bray Wyatt is so desperate to be the new face of fear, then he's going to fight that much harder and do what he has to do. But again, that's just my predictions. And after that, we finally close it out with the 8-man tag between Cena, Bryant, Henry, and Roman Reigns versus Kane, Wyatt, Rollins, and The Big Show. And they all get their intros. And, just the four of them collectively, I mean, we're talking, 30, we're talking at least 3.5 to 4 minutes worth of intro time. And surprisingly, Mark Henry gets a good pop. You can never, I always do that. I always have to backtrack on that because you can never gauge the crowd reaction, because you'll get some natural noise and then you'll also get some canned heat from post-production because this is a taping. But it seems that Henry gets a really decent pop. It also seems that Bray Wyatt gets an amazing, pop. And it's just him coming out. Bryan, obviously. Cena gets a reaction. Kane and Big Show, not so much, but Reigns, as much as people don't like to believe it, I mean, the guy looks like a star, and he's being positioned as a star, and the crowd reacts to him as a star. Walking down, you could just see people just so excited to either get a up-close glimpse of him or just to be able to touch him and sort of bump fists with him. But out of them all, like Bray Wyatt, it just seems that when he came out, he just was sort of set apart from what else was going on in the ring. I don't know. Maybe this is me. Maybe it's just me. But Bray Wyatt definitely seems like a way bigger deal as a fighter in that match than, say, even John Cena. Weird. Maybe because his character itself is just so overwhelming, he comes off as a bigger deal. He's the only one out of there that really can set himself apart with the promos that he cuts and his appearance and the fact that he's going to face the Undertaker. So there. I could go into this match. I could, but if I sort of focus on something, Reigns comes in and he's just dominating, and it looks like he refused to tag. When he finally tags Mark Henry in, Mark Henry just gets his ass whooped the whole time. The heels cut the ring off between both Henry and Cena until the hot tag for Bryan comes in, and he's just going insane. And then there's chaos at the very end to where it becomes like, spot fest, big hit. Reigns basically clears out everyone, and even though he didn't get the pin, you can still see that he's quote unquote the most dominant guy in that entire ring. So he spears this guy, he spears that guy, and I guess Big Show. Cena gets a pretty impressive attitude adjustment on him, and Bryan gets the flying knee in and gets the pin. So the baby faces win of Cena, Bryan, Henry, and Reigns. And that pretty much wraps up SmackDown. It's funny. Maybe Bryan needed that pin. Not only, even though it'd have been, I guess, impressive if he was somehow able to take him down alone, but he needed the help of both John Cena and Roman Reigns. But still, the visual of Daniel Bryan at his size pinning someone to the likes of the Big Show is still impressive, and you get no sign of anyone else that's in the ladder match. It's just Bryan, so obviously they're positioning him to look like he's going to win the belt. It's my prediction anyway that Bryan's going to win the belt, but I guess that was a stamp of approval to show that it's going to actually happen. Again, the ladder match in itself is going to be a work of art, and then post ladder match, post WrestleMania 31, we'll see how everyone's career sort of turns out, and they're all going to be SmackDown guys. So that's SmackDown, and I think I spoke enough. If you're excited about WrestleMania again, and what matches stand out to you, please, and I say pretty please, with sprinkles and strawberry and things of that nature, chocolate, to just hit me up on either leave a comment on the SoundCloud, leave a comment on the Tumblr, leave a comment on the YouTube once this gets posted to YouTube about how you feel about WrestleMania, your predictions, which match stands out to you, whether you agree or disagree with me on things. Please, it's an open forum for any and everyone to talk to me about wrestling. I love it. I absolutely love it. So thank you to all the people who have been subscribing. I got 8 subscribers on the YouTube. Thank you guys so much. Also, leave comments, thumb up on Stitcher Radio, leave stars, repost, heart, do any and everything possible. Go back to this week and listen to the Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling Go Home Show review. Also, check out the video on YouTube. I'm going to leave the YouTube link to the video under this so you can go watch me, Jake, and Alexa give our WrestleMania predictions. Again, it's very funny. You get to see who we are. And again, we will be doing those every month for our predictions into the upcoming pay-per-views of 2015. Also, go back 3 or 4 weeks ago, check out Alexa. Dang, We Love Divas podcast. It's the pilot show. It reviews the finale of season 3 or season 4. I don't watch Total Divas, but it's the finale of that season, and we have to wait till May for the next Dang We Love Divas podcast with her and Will. Be sure to check out Faster Than the World podcast, which is an NXT review with Jake of Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling and the amazing Fritz. The website is pjtwcentral.com. This is where you can look at all the options to be able to listen to us. Bookmark, again, every Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's something up. So RSS feed it, load it into whatever you listen to, or subscribe to the YouTube to always get the updates of what we do here. And we're trying our best. We're just a small, as Stephanie McMahon told Sting, we're just a minnow in a big ocean. So the more you guys help us, the more we appreciate it, the more we can get the word out and also give you entertaining and funny and maybe thoughtful what we got analytic what, who cares? I'm tired. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you after WrestleMania, guys. Peace.